Oh, Valenteus return to the season and is now free from free with a drop week, but it's still Jacobs Reed's championship. But we go from a track that hasn't existed for a while to a track that doesn't exist at all anymore. Welcome to the old Australian Oran Park here for round 5 of the IMSA Vintage series. You'll see it all live here, of course, on the Global SimRacing Channel. Now, hello, everybody. I am Craig King, and joining me in the booth today is Joseph Black. Daniel Costello will be our director today, using cameras provided by Dougie Beard. Now, I know this is a weird track. I know this is a track that doesn't exist anymore, but we still got Joe Pete to give a nice little track guide for it. So let's have a look at that to see what makes this course an iconic supercar track.
Welcome to Oran Park Raceway. Though the track has been torn down and no longer exists in the real world, it was once located north of the town of Nurulin, New South Wales. Thankfully, with iRacing's laser scan, it's saved for sim racing perpetuity, complete with a number of incredibly unique features. The most visibly notable of these is the fact that it was one of the few figure-8 road courses in the world. In fact, 5 of the 6 available layouts feature this crossover bridge. But most of them are decidedly short, with the longest one being a mere 1.6 miles, and the smallest barely over half a mile. You would think that this would relegate the track to simply club racing with smaller, lesser-powered vehicles. But the V8 supercars and open-wheelers with considerable grunt both competed at this place regularly. It must have been like wrangling a bull in a china shop, considering the drastic elevation changes and the wickedly technical layout. Turns 1 and 2 make for a fearsome combination in which drivers are forced to brake and turn from incredibly high speeds into a tight left-hander. And the final chicane features a completely blind rise in the middle of it, making car placement almost a guessing game. The last corner also places a concrete wall all around the outside, giving it a street circuit-like feeling. The number of turns packed into such a small space makes passing difficult for just about any level of vehicle. However, mistakes can be easy to make, and most drivers will be ready to pounce should any opportunity present itself. It may have gone the way of the dodo, but rather than entering some sort of racing afterlife, fans and drivers alike can continue to enjoy this beautiful Australian track here in the virtual world.
Oh, Joseph, I mean, they usually say small but mighty, but this is one mighty challenge today.
It certainly will be, and well, of course, the drivers won't be watching any real-life races around here anymore, so they've got to make it up as they go along. It's New South Wales, Australia, that is the home of our racing today. Opened, it was opened 64 years ago. 1.62 miles or 2.6 kilometres and 12 corners is what we're going to be seeing the drivers fight around today. And well, it's got one of the unique things about quite a few circuits now that it's in more of the classic circuits. It's one of those bridges. It's great to see over the top of turn 5, Yokohama Bridge, and I'm sure we'll be seeing lots of drivers duking it out up there today.
Yeah, it's a very tight line, but you can try and take it side by side. The multi-class aspect today is going to be killer, but this could be the most crucial 55 seconds the GTPs have. So let's look at the championships quickly. I think I can get it through before they do a lap around here as they're doing qualifying right now. Jacob Reed does lead from Valenteus just due to the fact he's done an extra week. Gabriel Martinez will be in 3rd, and David Ricciardi still that surprising 4th place there. Christopher Lizdejak had a drop week already. He'll be in 5th. Matthew Cockerham just behind in 6th. Seamus Power also there in 7th. Brendan Lim just ahead of Shaddy and Mad. Jack Wells, very quiet start for the GTPs. He rounds out in 10th. GTOs a little bit closer.
Yeah, indeed it is a little bit closer, of course. 5 points still not too bad of a split between the top 2, but here we have one. Noel Lundberg leads the way with 86 points ahead of Joram van Hicks. He's going to be 1 point behind. Cal Young finds himself in 3rd place. Josephine Becker, 37 points off of Lundberg at the top, and Fabian Youngblood is 40 points off as well. It's very, very close between 4th down to 10th. Less than 10 points splits them. Martin Klejczurek, Ilka Cortisalo, Roman Bello, Taylor Bellon, and Mickey Friesen is going to be rounding out the top 10. And in fact, only 2 points split 7th down to 10th.
Yeah, 2 point split. This is round 5, as I was saying. 40 minutes around here, and that's 40 enough minutes here. Open setup, so make what you want to make or use the community setup, but if you crash, your day is done. There is no spare car out there today, but there is a drive-through at 17 incident points. And that also means it is a disqualification, not additional penalties today, at 25 incident points. So might see one of those flirted with today on such a chaotic track. As you've seen how tight it is here. That famous final corner, Recaro corner, just there. But meanwhile, it is other drivers just going on by as Jacob Reed is the first man into the 54s in qualifying right now. I was going to say practice. Gabriel Martinez just overtakes him. Cal Young has first place in the GTOs. To give you all an indication, the delta is 9.5 seconds. That's madness for this series.
Certainly is. That's a huge gap between the two, which I mean, it's just going to see we're going to be seeing everybody sort of getting bunched up, especially because of the fact that we're around Oran Park, where there's not much space for all these drivers. There's not much between the top three and the GTOs as well. Less than a tenth splits them as we are into the first few minutes of qualifying. They'll get two opportunities to see what they can do. And at the moment, it's Jacob Reed who leads the way in the GTPs and Cal Young in the GTOs.
Yeah, Cal Young right now as he's getting ready to finish up his lap. Really good lap. Comes around Recaro corner. Got a nice little run off there. And also they just opened up the barrier a little bit there in the latest stages of this track just to make some more room. He does go faster. He almost breaks the 102s, but he doesn't get that at the moment. So we're going to have to wait to see what this man can do, Noel Lundberg, as he's now starting. He's missed time, but of course, you've got 8 minutes to do it. It's absolutely all the time in the world. I tell you, the shock as well. Mickey Friesen not with a good lap, 103.5. Mickey Friesen's half a second slower than Van Hicks, who's now pole position. And that's a very good time by Van Hicks. But that just goes to show half a second is enough only for P6 for Mickey Friesen.
It certainly is. There's very tight splits between them, and we'll be seeing, I'm sure, the GTOs really scrapping it out today, as I believe that was Gabriel Martinez up to the front row of the GTP field, up to second place, and a tenth and a half off. We're watching on board with Noel Lundberg, who of course leads the championship in the GTOs, and he's really trying to push the limits of this circuit right now, taking as much curbing as you can, with avoiding the grass where there isn't much curbing here at Oran Park. So it's hard to maintain that balance, but he's done so decently so far. And this will be his first timed lap. Nothing on the board so far for the number 3 as he does head around the final corner. Of course, we will be getting cars potentially starting from all the way in that final corner. But Lundberg to the line, it's going to be 102.971, and that's going to put him to the top of the GTOs.
I don't think he needs to worry too much because nobody else around is doing any more times out there in the top runners. So that could be it for Lundberg. This is Jack David Spickett, who, well, we got to whisper it quietly because there's only one race done at the free this weekend. If he gets a good win here today, if he gets a win here today, he will be looking at the Triple Crown. I'll have to look back. I can't remember the last time Jack actually won in a GTP in the series, but look at the speed differences now as he goes through the Momo corner. Very wide. I wonder if that's going to be an off-track. He's going to keep on going to the O'Brien dogleg, and now Recaro. Just so quickly, that dogleg in this car just goes to show how quick he is in the 54s, but he needs to actually find 4/10 if he wants to go faster. It doesn't. He only just finds 400s, and he does improve. It's for Nort, and Valenteus now had actually finished his laps. He's done. He's 2/10 slower than Jacob Reed. Jack Wells were the last drivers to really look to see if they can upset the apple cart at the front of the field.
He's going to try to. He's got 2 laps to do so, but with 1:21 in the session, I don't know whether he's going to get the opportunity to do so. But that does mean that he'll get at least 1 on the board. And, well, he's just really trying to push his way through the next few corners to finish off the lap. And at the moment, he's got those 51 minutes or 51 seconds even as he crosses the split to the final corner. And up to the line it is going to be for Jack Wells a 1 minute 03.564. So it's not going to be up with Noel Lundberg at the top, but it's going to be in the top 10, 8th place for Jack Wells.
Alex Zott out of nowhere needed one more lap. He got it. Puts the car P3 in the GTOs, and Justin DeMuth, the last man in the race. The number 41 car. Yes, we had 41 entries today, and he just makes a mistake there at the dogleg. And that's it now. It's actually 42 cars, not 41 cars. But at the bottom, just makes that one mistake. Goes a little bit too aggressive there. You're going to see a lot of that. He'll come across the line 17, 15, 16. Sorry, my numbers. I don't know how to count down. I do apologize. 10 seconds left in qualifying. That would be all she wrote. Just 3 cars out there doing a few bits of sighting out there. And when we get started, it will be from the 15 GTPs, Jacob Reed leading them off with Gabriel Martinez in P2. I mean, that sounds about normal. Those two have been battling around, and Audrius Valenteus will be in third. A bit of a surprise here today for the gold standard, but he does take that third. Jack David Spickett will be fourth. He says he needs a bit of a miracle today if he wants to win. We'll wait and see. Christopher Lesajak will be in fifth, and Ferran Grau will take sixth. Brendan Lim will be seventh, and David Ricciardi eighth. Good chance for more points from today. Diego Mastretta will be ninth. Christian Rosenquist will be 10th. We do have 5 more drivers to go, as Andre Felipe Diaz will be 11th. Logan Fritz 12th. Francisco Martinez Andreu will be 13th. Carlos Pericas will be the last of the time qualifiers in 14th. Justin DeMove, well, he couldn't find out the dog lake, and that's a shame. GTOs, 27 of them, still close.
They certainly are, and that they were all sub 1 minute lap times. These are just over. Noel Lundberg taking pole position and will be alongside Joran Van Hicks on the front row. Alex Ott just 4 thousandths off of Van Hicks, and then Cal Young, all very, very tightly packed, apart from Lundberg, who of course set that incredible lap time 3/10 ahead of anybody else. Ilka Kotisalo, Josh Brain, Andreas Schuster, Jack Wells, and then Mickey Friesen and Shady Ahmad are going to round out the top 10 in the GTO field. But of course, 3 pages here, 27 drivers, so many GTOs, that's going to be difficult for the GTPs to contend with. Brandon White and Emilio De Chiari will make up the 6th row of the field. Then it's Torben Polek and Fabian Jungbluth, Richard Heinemann, Martin Kresherik, Harry Weir, Ian Haycox, David Tomaszki, and Dustin Maximovich rounding out the top 20, which is the top 10 rows of that field. And then we still have 7 more drivers in this, and it's Yoni Berg, Eustacio Alvarez, Carlos Yanke, Brian Ellis, Jonas Enola, Aaron Shoemaker, and then the only driver without a time, Konstantin Leontiev, the only driver without a time in the GTOs at least.
Yep, so we got 15 GTPs, we got 27 GTOs, and they're just about to come around the final corner right now to start the lap. Jacob Reed will be leading them as they come around the Recaro corner. Very quick starting lap there. Otherwise, he'd be starting on the bridge. You don't want to be starting like that. He's going to hold them up a little bit here, and he'll go waiting, and he misses on the green flag, and this is going to cause chaos. They're 3 wide, almost 4 wide in the background, but Jake can just hold on to it. Let's check for a really good run here. He won't be looking as they'll go 3 wide. Down into the sweeper, and now hard braking 3 wide into Coca-Cola. Everyone gets it through, but it's very stop and start. Reed is gone, and Lesajak up. GTOs just hitting Coca-Cola.
They certainly are, and it's a new leader in the GTOs. Joran Van Hicks has taken the lead early on. Noel Lundberg drops down to 2nd place, and Cal Young trying to challenge them as he tries to capitalise on Noel just dropping down. But it's going to be very, very close between the top 4 as they continue through. As we get our green flag racing for the first time. A couple of potential moves being shaped up right now. Jack Wells leading the way ahead of Josh Brain, but maybe not for much longer if he can get a good run off of the exit, but no can do for the time being. GTO field stays as it is, and Jacob Reed has built up an entire 2nd gap over Alessia Sack in the lead of the GTPs as they cross the line at the end of the first lap.
Yeah, crossing the line right now, and that's a really good start for Jacob. Kind of got caught out with the green flag, but made it work for him overall. Ferran Grau with a nice little move around as he'll go down. And it's interesting, 15 GTPs, you call it multi-class, really 27 GTOs, kind of the track that helps these drivers out, because it's the supercar track. So let's go with something a little bit old school like the GTO, but these are the GTPs. Only 3.6 seconds. He'll go over the bridge. Look at all the GTOs just underneath him as he goes on top of them. Just figuratively, not literally. Is still looking for time over Jack David Spickett through the dot. He'll go into Momo. He holds on. Not Lundberg. Not the start he wanted. Not the best hit. You look at this. Everybody's basically moved up 1 or 2 places in the GTOs. Still very quiet. Everyone's just trying to work themselves out.
Yeah, they certainly are. Only 2 drivers in the top 30 still in the same place, and Logan Fitz has had an issue as he's off of the circuit and now down almost to the back. He is in fact to the back as Christian Rosenqvist going incredibly slowly. He might become a potential roadblock for people if he doesn't get out of the way very soon, and that is going to be a huge problem for the Finnish driver.
Yeah, I think he caught onto the back of Logan there. Logan had a little bit of a tank slapper and nowhere for Rosenqvist to go. Thankfully getting off the road for when it comes to the GTO driver. That's going to be very helpful for these. Interesting, Rosenqvist hasn't towed yet. He's still out there waiting to see. Hurricane has just gone off as well. A lot of damage, trying not to bring up all the gravel as well, and he's in trouble. And I think as well, a lot of damage in it. That was a bad rejoin from Andrea. There's been a lot of issues at the back of this field. A lot of contact going on by the back of this field, and that's been causing issues. But at the front, Martinez looking to try and get back this P2. He wants it, but he'll have to try and go around the outside of the sweeper. And it is a left-hander. That's a lot of lock of the brakes there from Alessandro. There's nowhere to make a move there. Hard braking your lead into Shell. Try to do this around the outside. Outside tightens up as they now come into champion. None of these drivers are a champion. They're not going to make that move.
No, not quite yet. They'll continue their battle onto the Yokohama Bridge, which of course is an incredibly tight part of the circuit, but they will struggle to go side by side if they do try to do so. It won't be through there, and will it be to the next braking zone, which will be Momo Corner? Not quite for Gabriel Martinez, as that is going to be a GTO. So they might be catching up to that field already, and it's going to be very difficult, very tight, and you can see as they just try to pace their way through the traffic, there's going to be so much time lost here today trying to get through on the GTOs. It's all about being precise.
Yeah, well, we've lost 3 GTPs. We're down to 12 GTPs. But he's still got to navigate. Gabri, late move there, trying to get past Lentonov there. And so does Valenteus trying to get by. They're losing time to Jacob Reed. They're losing a lot of time to Jacob Reed. But Jacob now getting caught up. You can just see the Worcesterman in the classic green and yellow just going up the champion curve as Gabri looks. And always interesting, you don't notice the elevation changes until you're on there. Car goes around there. That was going around. I think he just got caught out there. The speed differences are catching the drivers out as they now come through Foster's dip. Don't need a dip in performance right now. Gabri around the outside of a GTO to get through Valenteus. He knows he has to follow. This is tough. This is really tough for the drivers as well to make a move. Cal Young, you see on the timing tower, takes that P2 away in the GTOs, but this is the battle right now. Down the start-finish straight. Is Gabri going to get a move before the sweeper?
Certainly isn't. In fact, it was Oran who dropped the lead, and now second place to Cal Young. So mistakes being made from the number 4, and he drops down almost off the podium. But Gabriel Martinez here is struggling to hold on to this position. He's doing so well to fight through, but a little bit of contact potentially with the GTO. With one of the GTOs, is going to knock his confidence in the defending part of it. As around the outside, Andres Valenteus looks but cannot quite find it on Martinez. Alejmisak is the car ahead at the moment of the Playboy number 12, and well, they've threaded the needle through a lot of the GTOs. It's all about threading the needle today. It's all about patience. Unfortunately, around a circuit like this is a virtue, and whilst you can try to fly your way through, you'll be taking massive risks. It makes more sense to just try and pace your way.
Valenteus!
Valenteus has gone round, and contact with a GTO has knocked the Ukrainian right down the order.
The gold standard just got hit to bronze and more, and it looked like it wasn't even the GTO's fault. Trying to carry too much speed, had to slow the car down, and the car just lost on him. He just lost it going up Recaro corner, and now he's on a rampage. Everybody was so tight together, he's going to have to work his way up the field. He's lost 8 seconds to that lead pack that we were watching, and now Jack David Pickett, he joked that he would need Jacob and Valenteus to have mistakes out there. Well, he's got one thing to happen for him. Now he needs Jacob, then he has to work out how he's going to get past the rest of the field, as he's now trying to catch up to Farron Crowd. This is Valenteus. This is a big-time mistake, and a real rare mistake for him. He's trying to follow the line, and he's taking way too much speed for the speed difference that Audi has, and unfortunately, that's going to be all she wrote. No massive damage, but all that time lost is so bad for Jack Davis Pickett into the sweeper. takes that position. That's vital to try and catch up to Gabriel Martinez. This GTP pack, they're not even halfway through the GTOs.
Yeah, and I mean, that, to be fair, that move from watching the replay did look as though it might have been both of them expecting the lap to be just over and done with very quickly. It was Harry Weir, who was 19th place in the GTO field, that the contact was made with. And yeah, that's just a huge moment for himself as Jack Davis Pickett actually on the back of said Weir as he tries to make his way through. Speaking of positions, and well, Andres Valenteas is now 8th in the GTP pack. He was down to 9th, but he has made his way up one position and is fighting his way back through now on the back foot. This is where he can operate, though. We've seen him operate like this multiple times as he comes through to the same part of the circuit that saw a little bit of contact last time out. No such problems for himself as they are going to continue on. Right ahead of him, Davide Ricciardi is trying to fight with Brendan Lim, trying to take the momentum into the first corner, the sweeper, but couldn't quite do so, and the momentum was broken enough into the Coca-Cola corner that he was able to seal it. But Noel Lundberg here is coming through on a couple of GTOs, so they're lapping their own kind, and he's managed to build out a gap of 8/10 that only appears to be increasing every lap to Cal Young.
Yeah, 3 seconds up the road from Lundberg is lap traffic. We are 9 minutes into the race, so that just goes to just show how tiny and chaotic this track is at the moment. Such a manic it's going to be today, and I know sometimes the community said, oh, we come close to 55 drivers, this is going to be a chaotic split. I think this is one of the times the drivers were hoping it wasn't so high, but it's a Saturday, it's in the Vintage, everyone comes out here. Valentean looking to pour out on the side of Ricciardi. They're going to go free wide. Brandon White just takes a little bit of a tap there as they were trying to fight for free wide. Ricciardi had to yield, and now even more issues up ahead. Mickey Friesen, there he is spun around. Brendan Lim's going to try and take it free wide, going into the corner. That's a big time move from Brendan Lim. Not sure the Chari, and now Valenteas looks to go free wide as well. They are literally just dicing, and now Chari almost gets caught out by Ricciardi. They were battling each other last season in the juniors for the GTP. Don't expect they were hoping they'd be hitting each other when it came to GTP versus GTO. But at the front, nothing's changed.
No, certainly hasn't. They're continuing to run very close together as they fight their way through this field. And Gabriel Martinez, though, is closer than ever to Alejnisak through the sweeper. He's going to pull alongside. And does he have the momentum to get ahead? He certainly doesn't have the line for the inside for the Coca-Cola corner. And it's just about Alejnisak able to hold on to the position. They'll head through and then they'll head up the bridge. And it might be the next overtaking opportunity as there's a move for Davide Ricciardi just to try and get through on Brendan Lim, but he can't quite find the gap. And well, I believe they just got a bit confused going around a GTO, and Davide sort of spotted his opportunity. We're going to get a GSRC replay here to see potentially what's happened with Mickey Friesen here as 14th place he is currently, and it's just a mistake, just a pure big lock-up, and it's thrown off the number 8. Well, he tried to seek an opportunity went begging, and, well, unfortunately, he saw himself around.
Yeah, that's unfortunate there. It's hard breaking down into that corner. Remember, you're also going downhill, so you're going to be using a lot more force there, and I think that was one of the reasons they had, and Mickey now just having to somewhat relax a little bit, but it's so tough to relax around tracks like this. And remember, he's one of the drivers, like most of these drivers, they use an H-pattern shifter or sequential shifter. So trying to do all these corners as well as then trying to get the shift, and I know a lot of these corners probably keeping it in second gear or, you know, just hoping for the best. And some of these drivers on the pattern, they'll go fourth down to second, kind of like when you're coming to a roundabout or a junction in the UK, and they'll just try to hold on to hopefully look for opportunities to get by. But Mickey's got a long run, and Valenteas earlier as well. We're looking as well. Shadi and Mad looking to try and make some moves on. That's a lap car. Thankfully, that's a lap car, because that was a very interesting dive down into Foster's dip. But now Martinez is going to try and do this around the inside, and he does a little bit of paint swapping. He goes on the defense for the Lesnar Jack with a lot of practice this week. knows when it's not worth it, but he's got to be careful because JDS is right behind. They're losing a lot of time to Jacob Reed. I don't think they mind right now.
Yeah, they certainly are. I think Jacob Reed's just going to skate up the road, but what they do have to worry about is not allowing that gap to come down anymore between them, Ferenc Grau and Aldris Valenteus, as the number one continues to try and fight his way back. There is traffic everywhere. There is cars everywhere on the circuit. Every single corner is currently operated by at least one car, and that's ignoring all of the straights, which see about 4 or 5 drivers at least at a time. With how insane this race is, it only looks to be fighting more and more as Cal Young and Noel Lundberg are fighting away. Joran van Hicks is going to try and take the opportunity. Cal moves across Noel and is going to hold on to the lead of this race for the time being. And well, they'll come around at the final corner to come down to the straight, and this is an opportunity for Noel Lundberg to retake the lead of the race. A poor exit from Young, and this is one that he can really capitalise on. Joran van Hicks going to try and pick up on the slipstream of Lundberg as well. They will remain side by side. Lundberg just about able to sneak away. Young to the inside of van Hicks, and somehow through all of that they've pretty much remained in the order they were after Young's mistake at the start of the straight.
Yeah, this all started at that corner just now at Shell Corner last lap. Noel went a little bit too wide and locked up, understeered off the apex there, and Cal from here all the way down to the dogleg. They were side by side before Young finally made the move, and that one mistake there at Recaro cost him, and it's also brought the field together. Alex Ott was in the slipstream, just losing it a little bit behind Van Hicks due to some GTP traffic. And where do you look? I've got to give a shout out to Daniel in the booth, because I mean, if this was Scott Hansen in the red zone, he'd be looking at 8 different screens at one time. Unfortunately, Daniel's only got one set of eyes. He doesn't have 8 screens to look at, and this is so much going on right now with so much traffic. Van Hicks will lose a little bit of time here, but he will keep away from Alex Ott as the shredder dives in, and this is tough. Breaking down between the sweeper and Coca-Cola is one thing. To try and fit in between 2 drivers is another, as we go on board with Dechari. I tell you what, last time I saw Dechari, he was wearing a hoodie because it was cold in Argentina. Well, it's warm, and I tell you what, I'd love to be there right now, Emilio. I love a bit of heat. I'm dying for it.
Oh, you just got to look to the track because the action is hotting up. As that's a car off the circuit. In the background of those drivers, it was one of the GTPs making a mistake and just sending himself straight off. But we're watching on with the rear of Emilio Dechari and with the front of Shady Ahmad as they continue to fight for this 9th place in class. This is going to be for 19th and 20th overall, and that's a good run from Shady Ahmad, but cannot quite take the opportunity because there is a corner right on the exit of the one that they just came out of. But yeah, Shady just looking the little quicker driver at the moment, as there goes the GTP on one of them. Emilio's going to get a slice of luck here as he's going to split the 2 and likely make his way through as they head down the straight. Indeed he is, and so Emilio, he's going to have maybe a few more tenths than he possibly deserved, but hey, you make your own luck, and he holds on to position. This is slightly further down. Ian Haycox is back fighting, and he's going to be alongside Kreischerich. He's going to be 3 wide into the first corner, and well, Haycox looks like he's going to be able to take the position off, and indeed he is going to. So 15th for our number 20.
Yeah, good recovery here from Haycock, now up 3 places. Traffic is really hindering these drivers out here today. It's been a while since we said that for GTOs, but everywhere I look at the moment, I look at a track map, and we all know the fastest class is yellow, the slowest, the second class is blue. My map is just blue. Blue is the colour, and I don't mean Manchester, because Manchester's red today, but we're in Oran Park. That doesn't matter about football. What matters right now is what these drivers do. But Chari still trying to hold on. This is one of the big battles in this field. Chari switching to the GTOs this season, learning a new skill set. Really tough to switch from a Nissan GTP to something like an Audi GTO, one of the hardest cars to drive on the sim. But it's interesting that Gabriel, he goes past right now, he's slowly catching Jacob. When I say slowly, he gained 2/10 last time by, so that's going to be healthy. Jack David Spickett still looking for a little bit of help. If ahead, unless Jack gets the traffic work for him, and Jack doesn't, is that going to help everybody? That now everybody's losing traffic, and Jack with an excusing what to Shaddy, a man, and Shaddy goes into the side of him. There's damage to the rear of Jack David Pickett. I've got to be honest, the car was there, and I know the cars are going to turn in at some point, but that's a lot of damage on the back of Jack. When he comes to the start-finish line, that's going to be tough, and now a spinner in front of him. Dechari saves it. Nice save, but that has not been a good half a lap, a good 30 seconds, sorry, for Jack David Pickett. He's lost a lot of time, and that's also a lot of damage to that wing.
Yeah, huge save for Emilio Dechari, huge moment from Jack David Pickett to be 2.5 now off Alashensak and 2.5 off of the GTP podium. Alashensak has lost so much time to Gabriel Martinez. It's 4 seconds that splits the two at the moment, as we're having a look at Mickey Friesen, who's having a look at the position right ahead of him, which would be, of course, 13th place. And there's a couple of them who are in that fight at the moment. So any opportunity is going to arise over the next lap, whether it's for one position, whether it's for 3, he's going to continue just to try and fight his way through. And the benefit of being at the back of the field, which now is held by Brandon White, is that you're able to just sit back, allow the drivers to fight, and then try and take the opportunity, any opportunity to make your way through. This is Emilio Dechari. I believe this may well be the huge save that he made on the last lap, just touching the grass. What a save that is. He's just touched the grass on the outside line. He will be full opposite lock just to try and make the corner, and he has done so impressively. Kept himself in this race, kept himself not actually losing that much time, and most importantly, kept himself out of the face of that GTP.
I didn't know an Audi GTO was in initial D, but really good camera angle there from Daniel and a really good slow-mo. That's what some of these GTOs are skilled for out there. They love doing a little bit of the drifts, and sometimes just doing that fun allows you to just have a little bit of a save, help you save yourself later in the races. Mickey almost had to do that as well, but this is interesting. Cal Young and Noel Lundberg have gapped Johan Van Hicks at the moment. They're now starting to pull ahead. 3 seconds gap between Young and Van Hicks, and Cal's a bit too far behind at the moment to look for some moves. You know he is hunting a move right now. I know we haven't looked a lot at the GTPs, mainly because there's nothing happening in the GTPs at the moment, I must say. So you're not missing anything there. I say that Valenteus just took a hit and almost went into the wall from a back marker, but things happen out there. Brendan Lim, just as I say that, has also just found the barrier at the same place, and that's so unfortunate for Brendan. And in fact, I do wonder, just a bit, he actually lost control of the car, got rear-ended from Mickey Friesen. When I say rear-ended, Mickey had nowhere to go, no time to react, and that allowed him, unfortunately, set Brendan going through. He'll have to make another recovery. What this does mean is somehow Valenteus is now back up to 5th. He's now a net -2 for the day, and he's only 5 seconds behind the Legend.
Yes, the opportunities are still there for the Ukrainian if he wants them, if he wants to be able to take the opportunity. They were very much there for him. Brendan Lim cutting a huge chunk of the corner, avoiding that GTO. He's going to do a wheelie on his front, and then that's just what lost him that traction. And Mickey Friesen as well having a problem, partially as a result of that, just getting thrown off by the number 14. And it's just issues compounding for those two drivers. As I think he managed to avoid a lot of damage there. He slowed it down a lot before he hit the wall. I think he's managed to be relatively alright after all that. Shady Ahmad going slowly down the straight, dropping down to 12. That allows the opportunity for Serban Pallet and Fabian Youngblood to both gain places.
Yeah, now they're trying to look to gain places out there. Pollock trying to catch up to Fabian Youngblood, trying to see if they can catch up to Milo Dechari. Another yellow and blue, and this is a DTM-inspired livery. Foreman, last time I saw this, you were doing DTM-style racing. I don't think you want to be doing supercar racing out here today, because that just ends up in chaos around here. And I do remember seeing clips of old races around here for the V8 supercars, so can always help out. But he's made a mistake, and I wonder if that was just too much mirror watching in the back, because he saw Brendan trying to get by. Brendan thought he had a run. He did not. Mickey Friesen behind them. Brandon White is in front as well. He's just there, and he'll go over. He almost just took air there. I did not realise that they went through the dog leg. a little bit of air there in these GTOs, but this is a good run from Mickey, but he's just tailed out on the throttle at the end. I don't think he'll be able to look for an overtake here. And remember, you can't outbrake in a GTO. You have to do it on the braking, and that's going to mean at the front of this pack, Shadi and Matt going to look for the move onto Forbin Pollock. He locks up the brake. He gets it done. Pollock's now on the defense. He doesn't want to give up any more positions. He won't. Brandon White just have to sit there, and Mickey is so tough. Mickey is waiting now. A mistake as well. They're going to go up to the bridge side by side. Champion corner they'll go. Looking for placing. Mickey is just not prepared. He bumps them and says, let's get a move on here. There is nowhere to go. This is now a residential place. This feels like it's a car park.
A little bit, or something along the lines of bumper cars, like you would see at a carnival, where they all just sort of broke each other's momentum as they went, and it's all about now how much speed can Shady and Matt hold on to, as Jack David Spickett, well, he's gone back behind Valenteus, so I'm not sure whether there was an issue for the 13, but Valenteus, he's just making his way through. He's only a net -1 now, and he sets his sight on Christoph Leschnesak and back onto the podium. This is where we've seen Andreas Valenteus operate potentially at his best, where he starts he starts with a problem, and then he's able to climb his way back through this field. Jack Wells and Josh Brain alongside each other, and they are still scrapping it out for this 7th place through 4 corners now. They've remained side by side. Are they going to make it a 5th, or is somebody going to be able to take the opportunity? Well, Josh Brain has gone slightly off the circuit. He's just taken a bit of grass, and that means his momentum has broken. Jack Wells through to 7th.
Yeah, they went into that as well. It was interesting that what happened there with Jack Wells. We go to a replay. Jack Davis Pickett, sorry. Jack just realised he didn't have the pace. He did not have it anymore. He just pulled off to one side. He just decided it was not worth the hassle. Take it, Andreas. You've got a race to go for. He's now 4 seconds away from the next car within the Lesnar Jack. So still got time to do it. Still a lot of time for these guys to go. With 16 minutes to go, it doesn't feel like it. This is really just blown by quickly. I thought it wouldn't go this fast with the number of cars we've got here today and the traffic chaos out here. But now you see that Lundberg and Van Hicks, they are right on each other, and I wonder if we're now going to see that GTO train-esque here, because Van Hicks and Lundberg are quite fast. But I do wonder if they're going to try and catch up to Cal Young, someone that has caught up. You're seeing it in the timing tower. Gabriel Martinez has caught up to the back of Jacob Reed. What is happening here? Because now Gabriel Martinez is threatening Jacob Reed for the lead of the race with 15 minutes to go. Van Hicks, nowhere to go. Is there any move here from Lundberg? No, they catch on. But this is going to be crucial when they come to the start line next time, providing Gabriel doesn't get held up. They say that. You're going to see very shortly when they come to the start line. Unfortunately, Gabriel got held up. Van Hicks still holding on. And Jacob Reed leads for a second until these guys come by very shortly.
Yeah, this is his chance to just have a breather before Gabriel gets all over the back again, because he very much has the momentum. Jacob Reed will have been chilling out the front for this entire race, so his brain might have switched off. He may already be thinking about that victory. He's got one hand on that trophy. Gabriel Martinez is trying to snatch that hand off it and try and keep it very much in the open. Joran Van Hicks is going to be 4/10 off the back of Noel Lundberg. There's a gap now of 1.2 forward to Cal Young, so maybe just the GTP's getting in the way. We'll have a look at the replay with Jacob Reed. What has happened for the driver in the lead of the overall field? And it looks as though there's a bit of a contact between himself, whether it was himself or the contact model itself. Himself and the GTOs came together, and that is not what you would like to see. Jacob Reed losing a lot of time behind Mickey Friesen. This is right ahead of him, but yeah, just a couple of moments that Jacob Reed will want to put out of his mind.
Well, he's got that lead back again. You can see 2.4 seconds as the GTO leaders go over the bridge for another time. Interesting, when we talk about how quickly this race is, it's going to be about 42 laps for the GTPs, and depending where the leaders catch the GTOs, about 38 laps. So the lap count is looking very chaotic out there, but Cal Young continues on. Corbin Pollock, that's a very sad DTM car, and it is there. He does get it towed finally. That looks like it was just a little bit of a tap there, battling Nicky Friesen, trying to get on, and then he got on the throttle. Well, there's gravel everywhere around the Coca-Cola corner. I don't want gravel in my Coke, I must be honest, but losing the back of the car, going by Shadi and Mad, also looking to get through. And hard charges today for the GTOs. Lentonev is up 5, down in 22nd. We give a shout out to Jari up 3, Cao Young up 3, Youngblood up 4, Ian Haycock's up 4, Shadi and Mad looking to go a net 0. That was a lap car he went by. He's still trying to catch up to Fabian Youngblood. Let's go quick one more replay. This was the fall from Pollock, and there's the gravel. The car's already unsettled, and there's a reason you put tyre barriers by a bridge. That's why, because if that was a British railway bridge, I'd be calling the police right now to let them know someone's gone into the bridge.
Yes, they just the Yokohama Bridge finds a victim, as well we'll be seeing. The last 12 minutes of this race, I don't imagine the action is going to stop anytime soon. This is Fabian Youngblood on the back of Emilio Di Chiari. These two have been locked in battle for a while, and it only looks set to continue. Fabian right on the back, and the two red cars very close together. Shady and Mad in the white right behind as well, trying to breach that gap, trying to close in. It's about 7/10 the difference between himself and not Di Chiari, because he's in the lead of that group. It's Youngblood in the middle. This is Di Chiari, and watching on with the Argentinian as they cross over the line for the 27th lap. They've only been lapped by the GTPs 3 times, but it certainly feels like a hell of a lot more than that.
Like I said again, 57 seconds is what all the GTPs are doing at the moment. These guys are doing 103s. Van Hicks has put a 102.9, so we still call it 103. So that doesn't sound like a big delta, and on a track like this with the speed differences, it isn't. And that's really been hindering some of the drivers. We were just looking at that place, battle for P10. They just hit the brake. That's the battle for the lead. They're coming down to turn 1. That just goes to show the gaps in the field at the moment, but Van Hicks is losing time. He's got 2 GTPs behind him, or in front of him now, and it's Jacob Reed and Diego Mastretta, who is a lapped GTP. That's also going to hinder because, well, who's behind? Well, it's Gabriel Martinez and Ferenc Grau. I just looked at it. Ferenc Grau's just had a big moment out there. He's in the wall. He's in the wall at Recaro Corner. He's actually done it on his own. That's another car gone. And we are now down. Well, I think that now means it's just 7 GTPs on the lead lap. And we started with 15. Halfway there. 10 minutes to go. And nothing can happen. This is Ferenc Grau. This is why the Goblin is so tough. Taking too much. Maybe the car a bit too low. You can't 50-50 grind there, son. You got to board slide it. He ends up in the barrier.
Yeah, you very much could do. Jacob Reed trying to get through on more of the GTOs as they come through to what will be his 32nd lap. It will be just under 10 minutes to go, so we'll be into single figures. And Gabriel Martinez, the gap has stabilised between himself and Jacob Reed over the last few laps. It got right down to under a second, but Jacob, just with that pace, has been able to eke it back out. The difference between those drivers on the last lap, virtually nothing in the grand scheme of things, considering that Gabriel needs to close that gap down. It is 2 seconds as they cross the last split, Jacob Reed and Gabriel Martinez, the difference. And, well, it's been about that for the last 6 or 7 laps, something like that. It hasn't really gone up or gone down. But just having said that, Jacob's lost a decent chunk of time. So maybe just getting caught behind a GTO at a difficult moment. It's all about timing here. And, well, this is a little bit of awkward timing through Audrey as he has to fight his way through to try and keep up with Christoph Olejniczak, who continues to hold on to that 3rd place. Valenteas hard charging, and he has caught up to the number 9 and is going to be looking for a podium within the next few laps at the very least. He'll have a go at least at trying to get through on the pole.
And what a recovery that would be for Valenteas, the number 1 car. He was down in 9th position after that incident at Recaro Corner near the early stages of the race. He's right there as well. Keep your eyes on that timing tower as well for the lead battle in both classes. It contracts and then it expands. It's like heating metal and then getting it out of the Bunsen burner. these drivers are probably in a Bunsen burner right now with how much speed, how much tackling, gear shifts and driving and steering and navigating and slowing down for Valenteus, and he has to split them and hack it into Lesnijak there through the dog leg. So Lesnijak got held up by Krajtrek, and Valenteus is one of the best drivers when it comes to multi-class. He said, excuse him, moi. He takes that position back. Brilliant drive. I don't think he'll find the 8 seconds to get back to Gabriel Martinez, but to get a podium from where he was is on this track as well, is a fantastic achievement for the gold standard.
Fantastic achievement for the Ukrainian driver, and that looks like what he's going to go on to take. But Lesnijak trying to keep in that fight, trying to hold on to it, because he did have the pace to keep up earlier on. They both had the pace to fight, but now they're going to have to fight all that much harder. Gabriel Martinez just dipping under a second behind Jacob Reed, so we might have a fight on for first, we might have a fight on for third at the same time. In the GTOs, Cal Young still has that 1.3 gap. That is around the longest gap between the top two that we've had all race long in that field, as Gabriel Martinez, 55.7, fastest lap of the race. He has focused, he is locked in more than he has been before.
And the traffic has worked for him, but can Jacob find a way through? He can't find a way through the Champions Curve, and this is big time. They may go 3 wide here, no, de facto 2 wide. Some of the drivers letting him through. Gabriel trying to find a way through. He's going to do an excuse me move down Shadi and Mad, and now they're tied up. Mickey trying to find the right way to go. Jacob can't find a way through as they come down to Foster's Dip. Into Momo they'll go now, and that's very interesting to see that the hesitation doesn't work. Now they've got lap GTPs, lap GTOs, and there's nowhere for Jacob to go, and Gabriel can't even find a way to go. They're trying to just creep through this, because they know with 6 minutes to go they have to be careful, and this is not handy for Gabriel. He needed a good run there, but he could not find it. It'll be tough to make a late braking here, especially on a man like Jacob Reed. He doesn't look for it, he puts the car in a position that says, I'm looking. Keep your eyes open, I'm looking. 6 minutes, 10 seconds to go. 4/10 is the gap. I'm looking at the track map. They got a few corners until they hit more traffic. Jacob needs to use this to try and get a gap.
He certainly does. Jacob Reed needs to use this to his advantage. Otherwise, Gabriel Martinez is going to be all over him. He has managed the traffic expertly all race long, has Gabriel, and this is his opportunity more than ever to fight for that race lead. Jacob has held on to it this entire time, and well, of course, he led from that pole position. He held on to it, as that was a very, very close move there. Well, he's just getting so much closer. Jacob Winston's time. He go provided. That is going to be the
This is crucial now for Gabriel. This is going to be a very crucial moment. Sorry for that little blip there if you heard anything, but we're back here now. Gabriel looking to see if he can look for any type of opportunity, and he can't. And this is now the time, because this is actually better for Jacob. The problem right now is Jacob getting better runs when it's clear. The moment they get to traffic, Jacob is, I wouldn't say he's intentionally holding them up, because he's trying to look for a space. But where's the space in? And again, a little bit of a slide on the throttle there for Gabriel means he can't close up the gap here. He is looking, but there's no opportunity to look for any sort of gap, and late on the brakes for Gabriel. Jacob through the corner has to lock up as well. Of course, Costalo went a bit wide. Gabriel's going to look for this, but he can't. Jacob is one step ahead. This is a weird game of chess, I've got to say. 4 minutes to go. They've only got about 4 laps to go as well. Jacob with the excuse me pass on Hyman. That is an important overtake.
Certainly is, but he wasn't able to take full advantage, because they also moved out the way of Gabriel, and well, the 12 is still right on the very back. They've got another car right ahead of them, and this time Gabriel is going to get a little bit held up, just a little bit, but it's enough to get in the mind of the Spaniard. He's not quite going to have the same momentum, the same run as he would have had on Jacob Reed, Just a couple of moments to go. It's very, very tense. It's very tight. And a wobble out of the final corner for Gabri is not going to help as well. He's going to be 5/10 back as they cross the line. Jacob has an opportunity to really fly ahead here.
And he needs to. He needs to with all the might he can. There's 3 minutes to go. They're on lap 39 of what should be 42 lap for the GTP drivers. You do see that on the timing tower in Lundberg and Cao Young, but we're going to catch up to them very shortly because they are just coming down into Momo Corner. These cars are a few corners ahead, and I'll tell you what, that is the move you need to see. Nichari comes in for a pit stop, I think. That's an incident point limit, but now, yeah, it's an incident point limit there for him, but these guys don't need any incident. They just need to keep it clean, and all of a sudden, Jacob has found the pace. 250 to go. He's found the free spaces to go, and now he's going to be held up here. Cao Young is out of the lead, and that allows Lundberg to go. Was that another mistake there for Cao Young going down the start of the lap? It was another mistake at Recaro.
Yeah, Recaro saw him earlier on lose the lead, and it's seen him lose the lead again. So Noel Lundberg, with 2 minutes 20, has just taken the lead of this race. What has happened then to our number 3 around the final corner? And he's just gone very, very wide out of it. It's not an optimal line. Not sure what did happen in the end to Noel there, but he's lost a lot of time, and he's lost a lot of time, and he's lost that lead. Cao Young dropping that lead, Noel Lundberg taking it, and this might be the perfect time, in fact, to get through, as Mickey Friesen's through for 8th.
Mickey Friesen's through on 8th place there. He's looking to go. Keep my eyes on Gabriel Martinez, and he gets a better run out of the final corner this time, and we could be looking for an overtake. But the traffic, oh, the traffic! It could be an issue. They'll be braking for sweepers, and Gabri will have to try and go around the outside. He dips his tyres into the grass. GTPs, GTOs, lead GTPs. That's why it's Witch and the wardrobes out there. This is Narnia, but it's just enough there for Jacob. Just a little bit of the carnage at the leaders, mixed with the leaders, and mixed with a lap car. Everybody come and find a partner, and don't you know, but damn it, I'm sorry, there's no partner for you right now. They are looking and looking for more time out here to find. This helps though. Cao Young has helped Lundberg, sorry. It's helped him a lot out there. He's managed to just gap Cao Young. That's a big time moment, and Gabri continues to go off, pushing hard, looking for any opportunity, as the white flag will be lit as they come around. More sliding, but where's the traffic? Where's the traffic? Where's the help for Jacob? If you're gonna do it, Gabri, you got one shot. Don't miss your opportunity. He needs to try and send it into the corner, and the Coca-Cola corner is not there for him. Where does he look now? He needs to be aggressive, but Jacob knows that Shell is a corner to make an overtake, and he's going to try and use the downforce to go around the outside of Shell. Not work for him. Is he going to try and use the downforce to try and make a move through Champion? No. Where did he set himself up now? There's only one car. They're going to be hitting this lap for traffic now, and it's right here in front. It's that red car of Dustin, the number 27. Down into the dip they'll go. Jacob looking for an opportunity, had to lift off the throttle. Gabri could not find a way. He now needs to just hope he can get a good run out of Recaro, because remember, it's a short run to the finish line. He looks for it into Recaro. He looks at the last line. Is this going to be a drag race? Jacob's going to do this. It's going to be so close. Gabri Martinez gets it by a 10th of a second. Unbelievable. Gabri Martinez wins the GTPs, and it's going to be Noel Lundberg to win the GTOs. Last lap drama in both of the classes, but Gabri, wow, what a victory for the Spaniard. He took his opportunity around Recaro, and he very much signed, sealed, and delivered it. What a victory for Gabri, and a good victory for Noel as well, keeping the pressure on Cao Young the entire time. Joran van Hicks tried to keep it in there, but he didn't quite have the speed to the end of the race to keep up with Noel and to keep up with Cal. But that mistake around Recaro is going to live long in the memory of Cao Young, I think, as Noel was able to get his way through and take the victory in the GTO field. But what an unbelievable race we had. 40 minutes of drama. This is why we go to a circuit like Oran Park, because you get moments, you get races dished up just like that one. Barely a moment to breathe,
barely any space to breathe. And in the end, it was Gabri and Noel who came out on top.
Yeah, I keep looking back to see what happened to Jacob there. I think Jacob was anticipating the send and tried to do the over-under, but you're going uphill, and the track naturally cambers on the inside there. So I do wonder if he just got himself caught out there, but you'll see as we come to the finish, this is one of the tightest finishes in IMSA Vintage history. The gap between P1 and P2, 0.081, and it belongs to Gabri Martinez, the third winner this season in GTP. Jacob Reed will be in second. Valenteus with that impressive recovery drive in third. Lesnichak will be in fourth. Jack David Spickett just said he rather would have crashed into a tree. That there's a wall there with a tunnel. You might want to try that, Jack. He unfortunately finished fifth. Last man on the lead lap. David Ricciardi was sixth. Brendan Lim seventh. Diego Mastretta eighth. Then it's Logan Fritz two laps down in ninth. Andre Felipe Diaz will be in 10th after taking a pit stop. And then we have the retirees. Ferran Grau will be in 11th. Justin Demuth will be in 12th. Francisco Andreu will be in 13th. Carla Pericas 14th. Kai Christian Rosenquist will be 15th. I get 15. Joseph gets 27. Try and pick that one out.
Yeah, well, it will be 27 drivers in that GTO field, of course, as we mentioned at the start, and all of them got in the way of the GTPs at some point, but they had their own race, with Noel Lundberg taking the victory, Cal Young in second, and Joran van Hicks rounding out that podium, then an 8 or a 7.3 to be more specific gap back to Alex Ott in fourth place. Andreas Schuster picked up fifth, and Ilka Kotisalo picked up sixth, and Jack Wells, Mickey Friesen, who had their fair share of fighting, Fabian Jungbluth, who did in his own right, and then Shady Ahmad rounding out the top 10 in that field. And then it is going to be, of course, as I said earlier, 3 pages, and Brandon White, the only other driver to finish on the lead GTO lap. Josh Brain, Ian Haycox, Martin Krejcirek, Emilio Di Chiari, Richard Heinemann and Harry Weir, the only drivers to finish 1 lap down. And then Dustin Maximovich, Yoni Berg, then Konstan Leontiev rounding out the top 20. And then Eustacio Alvarez, Brian J. Ellis, and then our retirees, David Tomaszki, Aaron Shoemaker, Turban Palek, Jonas Einala, and Carlos Yankee, brings to a close our incredible 42-car field.
Well, the drivers are asking, the fans are asking, where's the IMSA Vintage chaos that they were promised? Are you not entertained? What a race that was! What a race on a track that you rarely see multi-class driving out there. And I do feel that they did deliver there, and what a finish that was. And fair play to the drivers to making that happen. I'm just seeing if anyone is going to come in for an interview. I don't think so. I think some drivers will be getting back into their cars for another race that's 24 hours around. Another sort of track that basically goes in a loop like this, as you know, right now, the Daytona 24. So I think that will do it for the day. So a shout out, of course, to the team, to Joseph, to Daniel, and to Dougie. We do have a race next week, of course, and we get ready for the first endurance race of the season. Yes, it is Le Mans next week, and it is the full layout. We are using the Mulsanne chicanes this time, so that's going to be great fun for an hour out there next week. Do not miss that, because Le Mans always delivers when you add an hour just for what happens. We also have other races happening tomorrow and the rest of the week. The Lotus 79s go to Sebring. That promises to be interesting after what happened last time they were there. And Skip Barbers will be at VIR, the full course this time. If you saw last season in the short course, that was fireworks. It should be even more fireworks. And then next weekend, the Grand Prix legend, the Lotus 49s, it's an oval round at Motegi. I remember when a famous Lotus 49 driver drove at Motegi with an absolute highlight. And then, as I said, we come to Saturday next week. It's Le Mans. But let's get there and let's take the weekend, because a lot of drivers now getting ready to rest. They've had an absolutely manic 40 minutes around this park. We say goodbye once again to Oran Park, and we do miss this classic track, but they won't be missing it for next week. It's Le Mans, and maybe
is iRacing.